What I'd like to show you now is I showed you this before. We talked about this before, how China and 20 other countries got together in Colombia to try to figure out how they could stop the war in Gaza, how they could stop Israel's genocide. They got together in Colombia, and so there they are all standing there. And the Hague, the group, it's called, coordinated this emergency conference, which brought together representatives from over 30 states, including China, Brazil, Spain, Mexico, Turkey, and Qatar. Initially formed by Colombia and South Africa, the group seeks to establish specific sanctions against Israel that, according to Colombia's vice minister, aim to move beyond discourse and into action. So what all 30 participating states unanimously agreed that the era of impunity must end and that the international law must be enforced. So the impunity for Israel and the United States and the European Union to keep slaughtering Palestinians. That's what they mean by the impunity has to end. To begin this effort, 12 states from across the world, Bolivia, Colombia, Cuba, Indonesia, Iraq, Libya, Malaysia, Namibia, Nicaragua, Oman, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and South Africa, committed to implementing 6 key points. And what are those 6 key points? Number 1, prevent the provision of transfer of arms, munitions, military fuel, related military equipment, and dual-use items to Israel as appropriate to ensure that our industry does not contribute to tools to enable or facilitate genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and other violations of international law. So they're going to prevent the provision of, so they're not going to, wherever they can, they're going to stop the transfer of military supplies to Israel. Number 2, they're going to prevent the transit, docking, and servicing of vessels at any port, if applicable, within our so they're going to, any vessels helping Israel in this war, they're not going to allow them to dock. They're going to prevent the carriage of arms, munitions, military fuel, related military equipment, and dual-use items to Israel on vessels bearing our flag, while being fully compliant with the applicable international law. Number 4, commence an urgent review of all public contracts in order to prevent public institutions and public funds, where applicable, from supporting Israel's illegal occupation of the Palestinian territory, which may entrench its unlawful presence in the territory. Number 5, comply with our obligations to ensure accountability for the most serious crimes under international law through robust, impartial, and independent investigations and prosecutions at national or international levels. So they're committing to try to get a war crimes trials against the people committing these war crimes in Israel, in Gaza.
Which countries said this part? Not Turkey and Qatar, because there's no way they can do any of this, even though they're at the meeting, right?
So support. And the 6th thing is they're going to support universal jurisdiction mandates as where applicable in our legal constitutional frameworks and judiciaries to ensure justice for all victims and the prevention of future crimes in the occupied Palestinian territory. So that's what they decided to do. So the 12 states that committed to this were Bolivia, Colombia, Cuba, Indonesia, Iraq, Libya, Malaysia, Namibia, Nicaragua, Oman, St. Vincent, Grenadines, and South Africa. So no Turkey.
Yeah, so what are they even doing there? And then, I mean, what's the other one here? Wait, Libya, Malaysia.
No Qatar.
Yeah, there's no, where is it here? Bolivia, that's the one that we just cooed not that long ago.
Yeah, Libya.
So that's a puppet or whatever. I mean, this is going to be nothing. This is all too little too late. Now that 500,000 people are dead, the ones that are like the fake Bernie Sanders countries are going to come out and go, we signed a, like the dude when he talked about the Port Huron statement. That's what this is to me.
Well, I think it actually could amount to something if they actually follow through on this. I think it could amount to something.
I could have a great body if I did my Pilates like I should.
Here's what I want to remind people of, that Germany also joined everybody, all those, and they're imposing partial arms embargo on Israel over the Gaza City occupation plan. So Germany, finally, a little bit, they've been just like the United States, the second biggest enablers of the genocide in Gaza has been Germany. Ironic that they committed a Holocaust, and then they support the people that they Holocausted in committing their own Holocaust. So now they're responsible. So now Germany is responsible for 2 Holocausts.
That's right. Israel is entitled to one, and Germany owed them a Holocaust from the Holocaust they did.
Germany owed Israel their own Holocaust, and so this is it. But now they're starting to turn against them. Germany announced Friday that it will impose a partial arms embargo on Israel in response to the Israeli cabinet's decision to approve a new offensive to occupy Gaza City. Why does this matter? This is an unprecedented move by Israel's closest ally in Europe and its second most important international partner after the United States. It represents a wider trend in which many of Israel's Western allies are distancing themselves from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government. Netanyahu's cabinet is losing Europe totally. We stand with Israel, but not with the policy of the Israeli government, Dutch Foreign Minister Casper Vinkamp told Axios. So Israel's losing Europe. When you're losing Germany, it's all over. So now they still have Donald Trump in the United States government, but they've also already lost the United States people. So the United States voting populace is overwhelmingly against Israel right now.
And you've lost the next generation of American Jewish kids that saw what you did, and they don't like it.
They even lost the next generation of American Jewish kids.
That's why they're freaking out so bad.
Yeah,
you know,
and that's why they're going so hard right now, Kurt, to take over Gaza and the West Bank. So it's done. So they can get it
bygones be bygones.
They can't let. So then in 20 years they can apologize for the genocide they committed, but they'll still own Gaza and the West Bank. That's why they're going so full speed ahead right now. That's why they don't want a peace deal. That's why they don't want the hostages to be released. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government keep sabotaging any peace deal with Gaza and the Hamas. That's why
they killed their own hostages as a policy.
That's why they killed
a policy.
They killed their own hostages as a policy. It's called the Hannibal Directive.
And the order was given. I just saw headlines about it today. So somebody just repeated, but somehow I knew about this like 2 years ago. Yeah. So I don't understand how it's news now.
I don't understand how it's news now too. But so that's a big deal. Good for Germany finally stopping doing their second Holocaust. Isn't that ironic? Because they committed the first Holocaust, they feel guilty, and so they have to enable another Holocaust. That is what is one of the biggest ironies.
Yeah, at the chump level of citizen, which is what Germans are, the chump level, I'm sure that's how they feel about it. But at the top levels, this stuff's all planned many years ahead of time. They're not like poor people. They have generational plans.
Well, if you'd like to hear me make fun of the situation in Israel, Gaza, and Germany, you come see me tell jokes at the Village Underground in Manhattan, New York, Rutherford, New Jersey, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Chicago, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Appleton, Wisconsin, and Louisville, Kentucky. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Come see us on tour in Rutherford, New Jersey, New York, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Appleton, Wisconsin, Rosemont, Chicago, Louisville, Kentucky, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.